somewhat puzzling, and there goes the Rumble as well. It seems like Rumble, Skarner are the two that people have been really looking out for, and despite slight nerf to the Ashe, we've seen that she is still extraordinarily strong.
I don't hate the Skarner ban, because I do feel like you want to give Perfect maybe a little bit more agency, given that he has looked like one of the better performing players on your team. And I do think that the Skarner does push you in a little bit of a direction when it comes to your draft, whereas the Ashe, it's a flex pick. It's both an insane AD carry as well as an insane support. It does mean that the very obvious Corki is going to come out here. Normally what we see is paired this with a jungle pick, but instead Hayes is going to get some priority. He's earned it given his level and Lahenza's level of performance thus far in the tournament. As that I love that one too. So
is this KT drafting well? What? I'm not used to this. What's going on? Isn't this the summer season of 2024? Surely not.
That's a really strong opener.
I am very worried about the Yone pick because B2D did kind of look tragic on it last time around.
He did.
We have to caveat.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't want to get excited about the performance, but the draft thus far.
Yeah.
So you have the Lilia shouldn't come as a surprise. Wonder if it's going to be like the Brand. I do think Brand with Leona specifically is quite strong. So very solid combo. Alternatively, I'm like double checking, but Talia is also still open, which the reason why I'm triple checking is
what the ZYRA jungle.
Oh,
there we go.
Lock it in.
I love it. Thank you very much, Canyon.
Man, that's
my favorite champions, and she's going to be coming out of the jungle. I believe she was nerfed a little bit prior to the LCK starting. She was kind of terrorizing the jungle before that.
Yeah.
But still pretty strong.
This is a debacle for lore as well, because you have her favorite champion versus her favorite team. That's a tough one. As we look, the Maokai support would make a lot of sense. We saw the Poppy support really come up as a top-tier pick as well. But Barrel's just showcasing what a champion pool he has. It's going to be the Seraphine instead.
Was it One Monk Freaks that played it in?
Muy buenas a todos, chicos, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estáis? Bueno, os traigo aquí el resumen de la partida entre KT y ROLSTER contra Gen.G. Ya sabéis que os dije que intentaría traeros más partidas al canal. Por desgracia no voy a poder hacer el casteo en español, con lo cual vais a tener que ver el resumen en inglés. Pero bueno, poco a poco, conforme me vaya acostumbrando, vaya cogiendo más energías, imagino que podré traeros más casteos en español. Pero bueno, de momento espero que disfrutéis de este pedazo de partidazo. Ya habéis visto que han piqueado ZYRA jungla. Así que nada, espero que lo disfrutéis. Un abrazo a todos, gracias por todo vuestro cariño y disfrutad del vídeo. Chao.
Alright, Gen.G fans in full voice. KT fans also definitely not quiet here as Deft. Dude, the guy next to you has a skin for that. Oh, but they're like the synergy towards the bottom side of the map actually much better with those two skins. So I appreciate it. Not using Barrel's skin just so they could look a little bit more coordinated. Love that. I think they need all the help they can get in that department as well.
Oh, Canyon going for the Comet. So this is a new tech for the ZYRA. I'm personally a pretty big fan. I think that Dark Harvest, we've seen that rune in competitive specifically just not have that much impact. First Strike, obviously, is also great, but First Strike did get nerfed on this patch.
Doesn't even get impatient as immediately Deft has to use his cleanse. Canyon is from killing these camps into a great flash to get himself out of the way of the Zenith play, but still has to use the flash. Oh dear, there's the flash, grasping roots. Deft able to walk out of it, but he still has to walk in the wrong direction, and first blood goes to FaZe. That is about as bad as it could have gone for KT, but best possible scenario for Gen.G. Against Showmaker. Is looking a little bit better now, but it's a Cork. He doesn't exactly, although I guess he does have more lane presence now, and Chobi always has. But still, Canyon moving on over, King going to help him out. And as I say, the B2D's having a fine time. He goes down to 200 health or something like that. And it's going to get slowed up. Chobi moving in, Deft in the area as well, as I think Pyoshik going to have to get out of here. Yeah, and it's going to be able to push him away. Canyon moving on down, he'll take the leash.
And it's another example of how powerful clear speed is, because what happened there was Canyon walks top, takes 2 grubs, then sees that the dragon is being taken, because KT is like, hey, if Canyon's top, which they spotted in gold there, then we can trade for a bot side dragon.
Plan's coming down as Keen going in. There's the all out onto Perfect, who does Press the Grandmaster's might, but I don't know whether it's necessarily going to work. He's trying to wait, trying to get out. And Keen, he's all out, but he's not going to be able to catch up. And that is not going to be any sort of solo kill. Both flashes now down as Canyon. Oh, BDD. He is going to be able to make it somewhere out of this. Almost goes down to that last rocket.
Makes his way out. This wave is going to crash. There's going to be more plates going over, but they do get, as you point out, the grubs. It's going to be 3 against 3. This Dragon, though, is looking like it's 100% going to go towards Gen.G. I don't know if KT is really going to be in a position to try and contest for this, given that we see Death Barrel still making the way towards the bot side of the map. And I expect that Hayes and Canyon will be able to get through quickly. Instead, though, it looks like they're just going to get the first turret blood and put even more gold into these carries as, Canyon and Hayes. They are...
Yeah. But instead just going for max damage, will be able to cut through anyone that walks up to them. But that does mean that the Dragon does go over to KT, so they're evening that score. Certainly good news. And that is a Chemtech Soul. Ox is here today. When I was on to ride a bike, I got hit by a parked car. There's an ulti from BDD. Chovy going to be able to flash out of there, still has to invest it. Kushik comes in and doesn't find the Glacial Prison. They were really hoping that they'd be able to at least get a kill there, because there is a lot of bleeding to stem here.
And it's a little bit tough to watch, because I like what KT is doing. They're continuously going for these plays, right? Deft is firing arrows. Pioshik's trying to set something up. Perfect was able to, withstand the pressure of Keen in that lane. But then the play doesn't work. They don't get the kill.
The rest, yeah.
Atlas, this is a safe space to discuss emotions that you have regarding one of your favorite.
Mainly the Zyra, yeah. It's all right. Deft gonna have to give up this turret. Absolutely. As Pioshik rotating around, you can see Lehans. He really wanted to find that Zenith blade, but doesn't get an opportunity just yet. As Roterald is going to fall down. Keen getting kited. That is a decent encore onto 3. Perfect into the backline. Finds his counter-strike on everyone. Stranglethorns is there defensively, but BDD finds the ulti at KT. They managed to manufacture a team fight, and it has not looked better outside of that part there where Keen manages to kill Perfect. Chovy trying to go 1v4. That ain't gonna work. And Deft is gonna kill his ex-teammate. KT, they needed that.
It's the Wombo combo that dreams are made of, Atlas! KT in the mid lane! The chain there!
Does show that KT can actually perform well together.
I thought that was going to be a bigger dent.
Yeah, no, it's a bit of a blip. You just need a bit of super glue and you'll be absolutely fine with that one. I don't think Gen.G are really too worried. They're also going to be able to grab their second Dragon of the game. That will very, very quickly go down. Chemtech Soul, not going to be the...
I think the KT comp is still...
I know, it's cool. It's a cool comp. How is it so one-sided?
No, I think it also skills well. Outside of specifically the ability to get on top of Pace, that's like the one thing where I feel like really...
Yeah, he's going to try his hand at hitting some abilities. Doesn't have that Rylai's completed just yet. As the turret just gets,
for that, as we can see there.
Certainly feels a little bit better as BDD going to teleport his way in. Keen just be in that front line as they set up the Soul Point.
Perfect.
I think that KT wants to find this angle once again. It is that flank that Perfect has set up for himself. Gen.G gonna get spotted as the Scryer's Bloom comes in. Extendo Beam onto Beryl. He is pretty squishy. As they will start off this Dragon once again. There's the flash forward. Flash out from Beryl though as Pace immediately cleanses the Glacial Prison. And Deft feeling pretty safe at this point in time. Finds the arrow onto Canyon. There's the knock up, but the Stranglethorns has gone down. It's Perfect that gets Paze out of the fight though, and there is the kill onto Canyon that he finally finds. This time though, Paze is still alive, and Keen just slices him up and gets out of there. Deft wanting to get a bit of damage back as there's the counter strike from Perfect. The arrows are raining through though, and Perfect just wanting to find a Paze, getting kited, and Deft finds the 1v1 at the end. It's a teleport to bring Keen back in though. And I don't know whether Deft wants to go for that particular 1v1 as well. At least this time he'll be able to walk his way out. As my goodness, how does KT manage to find these team fights? This is this is time in the Matrix where they're like, he's beginning to believe. Because now finally they're about to, get closed in on in a fight, and they just say, we win these.
Oh.
And they did, as Beryl very excited about the situation as once again, Perfect on a flank angle, Gen.G full information, Goshik getting down low. Deft trying to find these volleys as Perfect gets into that backline. Another Stranglethorn's used on just the Jax, but it may work out here as it's a decent knockback. They take down the top laner, and Keen is absorbing so much BDD. He finds both carries in the backline, and Pace is wiped out. This time, though, they managed to get Deft, and I think that Gen.G have enough damage left available, and Pyoshik and Beryl will not be able to do it. Pyoshik will at least have the last laugh as he's the one that decides his fate. But Beryl is walking the wrong direction, and Lehens is just going to let him go. They don't want to waste their time because they just want to take this Baron.
Here we see the problem for KT. Even though Perfect, man, I'm betting KT is very happy that that guy is back.
Oh,
Finds a great flank. BDD gets the carries. The problem for KT is that Gen.G, you might look at this and go, they have 3 very strong carries. But the reality is they have 4. Because Keen on his Cassante, just able to sound like that fight might end up deciding the game as the Rebel Baron power play for Gen.G, I'm sure, is going to be massive.
I would say so as well. And I think that it's really cool that KT kept it interesting for those couple of team fights. But this is what it's been looking like we're heading towards most of the game. As Gen.G, they managed to take the first neutral, they'll take the second one as well, as that is Soul Point for the Chemtech Soul that they pick up there. And Chovy splitting on this bottom side. Deft here to catch the wave, so at least Chovy's not going to be able to take this one just yet. Laying down the groundwork, getting all of this vision set up. And it just feels like such an uphill battle for KT. This whole game is what it's sort of led to, and I think it all just comes from Canyon and his ability to pilot this ZYRA kind of exactly how it needed to be this game. Gen.G still looking for a bit of an angle here, and they're just, KT taking too much damage underneath this turret. Beryl going to be shielding them up, trying to do what he can to keep them healthy, but all the while, Keen not there. He's on the top side, putting that extra pressure down, and there are too many holes in the ship and not enough plugs.
KT, I think in this series look a lot better. Even in the DK series, which was closer, like the fights have looked better than they've looked all summer. And I know we're in week 2, but still, that's something to look towards. That's something to give them credit for. But they're gonna have to find a similar level of insane combo. And I think you start to see Gen.G adapt as well, in that I feel like they're a lot more aware of the threat of that ultimate, in that they don't just pile up behind us.
Well, there it is! BDD finds all of them with that ulti. They do manage to at least get the kill on the Yone, and I think maybe the wallets are a bit too heavy, because look at that, the double from the grave for Canyon, as he then just finds himself a forbidden book from the library. Very, very cute stuff. As okay, Perfect and Beryl, the last man standing, and I thought that that was going to be it. That was the Wombo combo. That was the sick play. KT find a team fight. No, it's just the ZYRA presses her buttons before she dies.
Effectively reworked like 1.5 times, and Chovy is still just topping the damage charts.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a tough task with Canyon here on this ZYRA that has been very, very strong throughout this whole game. It all just comes back to Corki and Chovy in particular.
Yeah, can't believe.
Just, knocking down all of these turrets. It's now 7-2.
Find an even better angle. I just don't know if it's there.
Well, Solar Flare is going to slow down Deft, as now they do find an encore. We'll see whether that's it. It's just not. Beryl explodes like a balloon, and at least King gets knocked up, but he's just not taking damage. He dives in, gets the all out onto Pyoshik. Flash out from Deft, but his health bar is just too low. And Chovy is going to push Perfect out of there. They keep everyone alive, and Gen.G, I think this is the push for the end here in game number 1.
See if they actually take down the Nexus, or if they decide, well,
yeah, never mind.
KT's had swings up, and there's a new side quest.
Yeah. Would have been really cool. You know, there's quests in the game. That's a thing. There's precedent there.
I know.
It's all right. Speaking of which, this is going to be the second one that did just spawn at the same time as the Dragon. The Baron
like the cool,
is now the next thing.
Rengar Kha'Zix one that everyone knows about.
I do like that one.
It's so unfair. Getting a 4th evolve is not okay.
I know. Very, very silly. And Rengar's cool item thing is now gone, so this doesn't even really work that well. The same way that it used to anyway. Is okay, Keen just being that brick wall. This Baron is just falling down lower and lower. They do a bit of damage here to Keen to start this one up, and the Baron is now going to lose interest in the
Look
fight.
at the base! Look at the base!
The Winions are getting the work done here, but KT, we know that they are committed to finding a team fight. Perfect gets himself over. Lahens was waiting for him. Is now Chovy. He's going to get stunned up. Pays is going to fall down, and Perfect goes golden, avoids the Strangle Thorns. The team fight's beautiful. We're trying to ignore the fact that the base is just getting torn to shreds anyway. There's the 1-for-1 in the end, but it's not really a 1-for-1 because Gen.G just needs to keep the busy BDD. Heatlake doesn't manage to get Chovy, and Chovy once again doesn't have to flash. It's a double kill for Canyon, and Deft is the last man standing. Frostshot gonna try and slow him down, but we can see those really large red markers, and here we are now. Back into the base as the minions have just spawned, but there are supers here, and this is over. That's the ace for Gen.G. And KT, they found a couple of fights. That was really cool, but there was just nothing they could do in the end.
A roller coaster of a game.
Bueno, chicos, qué locura de partida. Ya habéis visto cómo ha ido, muy igualadas las peleas hasta que al final no había nadie que llegara a ese Corki. Entre Casante y Leona estaban haciendo una front lane espectacular y la verdad que Chovy se la ha sacado, ha hecho muchísimo daño en esta partida. Así que nada, espero que os haya gustado este Game 1, nos vemos ahora en el Game 2. Recordad, me gusta, comentario, me ayudan muchísimo, ayudan a que se posicionen estos vídeos y lleguen a más gente. Nos vemos ahora en el Game 2. Chao, aquí tenéis el daño. Flípalo, chaval.